Hello everybody and welcome back to Anything But HoldEm. Today we are playing one of the more unusual games and one of the more recent additions, I think, to the pantheon of poker games. Today is Courchevel, and Courchevel is a Omaha-like game with a couple of significant differences. Probably the most obvious difference, which you will see right off the bat, is that I'm getting dealt 5 cards. And of course, the second most obvious thing that you'll see right off the bat is that there's a free flop card out for me to see before we go ahead. So in this case, I already had a pair of kings even before things went in, so it gives you a bit of an advantage. However, things can be a bit tricky, and it doesn't always work out nearly as well as it seems to be doing in this first hand of what I'm playing. Now, for the record, I'm also actually playing 2 other games off screen. Yes, and we've just hit our full house over here. There is no low hand, so we are playing the nuts, as far as I know, for Courchevel over on the right-hand side. Now, remember, this is a high-low game, so there could have been a split pot with low, potentially. But, I mean, I suppose we weren't actually playing the nuts over there, given that, you know, a king-jack or something along those lines could have beaten us. But this is also a free roll, if you've looked at the top. This is an example I talked about yesterday why sometimes these free rolls may or may not be the best ones for me to stream. As you can see, I'm now at a table where everybody else is sitting out, which means I'm just going to be collecting funds for a little while. So we're not actually going to see much Courchevel action for a few minutes here. We're just going to kind of collect money until somebody else who's actually playing sits in. We got another player. The empty seat got filled, but they're sitting out too, so we're just going to start collecting their money as well, and you know, happily move on until somebody actually comes to the table that's actually playing the game. What this means is that we're going to amass a massive stack in a very, very, very short period of time, folks. As you can see, I am up just in the couple of minutes that we've been doing this. I'm sure that I'm up 2,000 chips already. Let's see how long we can go on this run for. I've actually at these free rolls, I've been at a table like this for as long as 8 or 10 minutes, I think, maybe even a little bit longer than that. It's hard to tell. I don't actually keep track of, and I should actually look at what we're doing. We have right. Okay, so we're just hitting the mark where the stream is actually going to start shortly. So 3 minutes, and we'll see how long. We'll see how long we get this for. But I mean, it's actually quite a remarkable remarkable thing that I can sit here. I've 22,000 now, so I'm up like 4,000 chips since I sat since we ended up at this. There we go. We finally actually have a live. We finally actually have another live person at the table, so we have to start playing actual Courchevel. Now I'm going to call this because I got a pair of 7s. I got a 4-1 low draw, which is not the worst, certainly not the worst low draw in the world. It's not the best low draw in the world either. Now, we've hit trip 7s, so we're in pretty good shape here. We've got a good low draw also with our 7-6-4-1, so we're pretty happy, I think. We're pretty comfortable in this pot. The deuce is an excellent card for our low, and the reason the deuce is an excellent card for our low is because when people want to play the nut low, they're playing an ace-deuce. Now, the deuce has just crippled his ace-deuce if he's playing ace-deuce for low. If he's playing hearts for high, then we've just lost our high. If he's playing a straight draw for high, the straight draws have just come in with the 8-10, with the 5-8. The 5-8's more likely than the 8-10 because the 5-8 plays low as well. But, I mean, I still think we've got to be throwing money into this. We've got very close to the nut low at this point since the... yeah, and that folded in. So, I mean, I think that we absolutely had to be throwing money into that pot. With a jack out, we do have decent low draws, but with the jack out, you know, we're already crippled on our low draw just a little bit. So I think we're going to fold this, let Joe know. Oh, actually, no, we're going to check this through and see what the flop comes in. 8-10 jack. We've got some backdoor straighty things, I think, happening. We've got a gut shot to the queen. There's not a whole lot else developing for us here, so I think we're just going to keep checking through, do stack preservation type situations, and see what we get from there. Do we call a bet at this stage? I don't really think we have enough value to call a bet with. We're never getting any low pots won here. We don't have a particularly strong high hand to play with, so I honestly don't think that there was any value to call with there, frankly. Now this is an interesting hand. We're not likely to improve to trip aces at any point in the hand, because of course we have the 3 of them already, so that's not a great thing. But we're ace deuce for nut lows. We got a pair of deuces, we got a pair of aces. There's really no excuse not to be involved in this pot, I think. And I think there's probably no excuse not to be raising this pot pre-flop. I know enough about Omaha high low to know ace ace deuce deuce is a good hand, even when only one of them is suited at that point. So I'm pretty sure that in Courchevel, ace 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 deuce deuce is going to be almost as good of a hand, with the exception, of course, with knowing that your ace is crippling one of your aces. So we're still on the nut low draw. That's cool. We haven't improved at all on our high, but we're on our nut low draw, so that's cool. We're going to see what he does at this point. I think let him kind of throw chips in and hang himself if you want. We're still only in a nut low draw and a pair of aces. I think at this point we probably want to bet a bit and see if we can take the pot down right now. If that doesn't work, we're still reasonably happy with the strength of our hand. So we haven't really... This hand hasn't worked out nearly as well as it could have, given the strength of our hand pre-flop. But nonetheless, this actually feels like it's a move, but I'm not sure that it's a move that I'm strong enough to call anything with. I don't have any low, and I'm only on aces, which means really only a 6 is all that's beating me. So I think I have to call that. And of course it is a 6. That's of course what he has. But really the 6 was the only hand I think that was beating me there. So I think probably the call was the way to go. I think maybe a bet on the flop as well. Maybe that was another place I went wrong on that hand. But I should probably say that I freely admit that Courchevel, I have no real clue about any sort of strategy specific to Courchevel at all. This is not the first time that I've ever played Courchevel, but it's if I can't count the number of times on one hand, it's certainly, or almost certainly, a single-digit situation. Alrighty, had a bit of a freeze up there. I don't know if it affected the stream or not, but my poker clients froze up a little bit there. But everything's kosher and cool again now. I actually folded this right out because I had just come back, but it doesn't actually look like I probably would have played this. I should have played this anyways. There's not a great low possibility. The highs there, but not huge really. Again, even though I don't play Courchevel very much or at all, really as a regular thing, I'm approaching this as I would any high-low game, in the sense that I'm looking at the low card possibilities before I'm looking at the high card possibilities. I'm trying to build a low hand, and the high hand is almost incidental to what I'm doing with building the low hand. When they come in, it's wonderful, and you scoop major pots, but the thing is, if you're not thinking about the low hand, then you're almost never going to be scooping those pots, and that's a key aspect of the high-low games. So yeah, I mean, again, I don't have anything specific for Courchevel at this point, but I'm gonna approach this in much the same way that I would approach any high-low Omaha style game. My position is reasonably good. You can see the the lobby up on the screen. I think it's big enough for you to read. I hope it's big enough for you to read anyways. So we're getting 48 entries out of this. I'm sitting 70th out of 177 right now. I'm pretty happy with my chip stack as something that I don't need to be really doing anything crazy with. And equally, I'm pretty happy with my chip stack as something that's going to make even the Jonelle up here with the big chips a little bit cautious about getting involved in pots with me, I believe. Queen, Queen, 668. Our lows are not great on this, but I think with the double paired bit, we kind of have to at least see a flop on that. The fact that there's a deuce up first maybe is an indication that I don't want to see the flop with a 8-6 for my only low hand. You know, if this card is a 9 or above, it makes the high hand a little bit more valuable in this situation, I think. So that certainly is one of the sort of Courchevel things that I would look at when playing, when kind of developing a high-low strategy that's specific to Courchevel. I see we got some people watching. It's great to have people listening and watching what's going on. Say hi in chat if you feel so inclined. It'd be good to say hello. We just hit trip 6s on the river, but a flush has also come in, which means our trip 6s are probably not hugely strong. That said, I'm not expecting anybody to check a flush at this point, and I was sort of expecting flushes to have been more aggressive back here on the flop. So I'm actually going to value bet into this pot. This may be a very silly value bet, but I'm going to value bet into this pot, and I am at least there for a part of the pot, right? For a third of the pot, or for half the pot, I mean, with my trip 6s. I was pretty sure I didn't have a good low in that situation, but you know. Now I could have played that with the 9s, and I probably, being results oriented, I should have, given that there was another 9 that came up on the flop. But that said, I'm not hugely strong on low. There's a no low card up at the top. My high, really with a pair of 9s, isn't that great to start off with, so that's sort of my rationale in folding there. Obviously, in this particular case, it was probably the wrong fold, but I think in general, it's probably not a bad fold. I'd also love for you to click the little follow button that's down below the channel indicator if you're enjoying what's going on today and you want to do any more anything but HoldEm with me, which will be happening on a regular basis, and we'll be playing all sorts of various versions of poker that don't involve getting 2 cards dealt to me and having 5 cards dealt out in the middle that everybody at the table shares. Every other form of poker will be fair game, alrighty, I think we've just flopped ourselves into the nut straight here. No, the second nut straight here. So I think we probably want to put money in the pot on value here and get a fold, which is, you know, perfectly reasonable a result to have happen. When you click the follow button, you will get notices every time I go live. Every time I go live on the stream here with anything but HoldEm. Won't always be the same game. This is the first time we've played Courchevel. As I said, it's not really a game that I play regularly, so I don't have any sort of special insight, I don't think, into specific Courchevel strategy. That said, I play a fair bit of high-low split pot games in general, and I play a reasonable amount of Omaha split pot games. So this being an Omaha variant and a split pot variant as well, I think I'm reasonably well suited to do not too bad in it. We're sitting 69th out of 157 left now. We came in the middle of this whole fun shooting match. We're going to call through on this with the deuce up. We've got a 5 ace there. Now, I wouldn't expect anybody to be playing an ace deuce with a deuce showing like that on a Courchevel, at least not if they have any clue how to play any sort of high-low game. But, you know, I think we're pretty happy, and actually we're value-y, I think, on this sort of a situation. We still don't have a made low, but we've just turned into a gut shot straight draw. With a lot of actual possibilities. So I think we're going to keep putting value-y type money bets into the pot. Good morning, Rosalind. Good to see you. It's good to see you. Rosalind is somebody that I play with on Stars quite a bit, actually, in the PSO games and elsewhere on various Stars. So it's actually good to see. Good to see Rosalind coming in and hanging out with the Twitch. It's not good morning where I am, but I'm happy to say good morning to you because I know that you can be watching. You guys can be watching from anywhere in the world. What has happened here? We have backed into a fairly decent low draw, so I think we're going to call here and see what happens. We're going to lose on low and we're going to lose on high, and you know that happens occasionally with games like this. So. We're on a 3-minute delay, as you can see in the top left corner, so it will take a little while for me to respond to your messages. You can have a look at the chat window that is actually on the stream, and that will actually tell you when you see that. It will tell you when I have been able to see the message, basically in the real world. So it's good to see you, Rosalind, and it's great to have people around. Click the follow button, and you will always hear when I'm going live with one of these streams, and we will always be playing some sort of strange form of poker. Yesterday we played Badoogie. Didn't have a huge amount of success. We lost the $2.20 fixed limit buy-in that we got into, but we did score a ticket in the free roll that we were playing, the pot limit Badoogie free roll. Named after the famous astronomer Tycho Brahe. We have played stud high-low in here as well. In fact, the first stream I ever did, which has now been lost to the ether since I had not been known to click the correct checkbox in my settings of Twitch to archive, and coincidentally had not known to check the corrected checkbox in my broadcast software settings to record there either. So I believe it no longer exists in the world. That said, my first ever stream was a $22 stud high-low tournament that I bought into with a ticket that I scooped off of off another tournament series that I won. And ended up chopping that for $170 as my first ever stream show. So that was a lot of fun, actually. That was a good deal. That was fun. We played some Raz in something that may well become a regular segment called the Sunday Raz. So Sunday nights we may well be playing a fair bit of Raz. I might do a stream from the Micro Millions Raz, which runs my time starting midnight on Saturday night. The only problem with that is starting midnight means it would be an all-night stream for me, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be up to playing my best Raz at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning after I've been up all night. That's a questionable. That's a questionable thing, I think. We have also played Fixed Limit Omaha High-Low, which we had a very good time playing. We've played some 8-game late in the evening the other night, where we scooped and banked an 8-game tournament for, I think, $23 or something like that. So we've had a pretty good time on here playing different games and seeing how things go. I'll be pretty honest when I'm playing these games about the ones that I think that I'm reasonably skilled or experienced at, and I've got maybe something to share, and other games like this Courchevel that I'm playing for roughly the first time and really don't have a whole lot of particular insight into how it's going. I'll try to also be equally as honest with this like I say, when I can look at a Courchevel and say, well, I don't play Courchevel, but I play high-low games, and I play specifically Omaha high-low games. So I've probably got a leg up over somebody who's never played a high-low game before in this, for example. Even a Courchevel high player, I've probably got a leg up if they've never played a low game before. I think, maybe. Or at least I'm on par with somebody like that because of my high-low thinking. So I'll try to be as honest as I can about my status in the game that we're playing on a particular day. And we won't always play the same game that you come in on. I mean, if I flame out in dramatic fashion and bust out of this tournament, I might just go ahead and try to find another one of these astronomer free rolls that's playing a weird format, and we can have a look around and see that. I've just flopped some backdoor straighty type things that I might wanna think about, but I really haven't flopped a lot else. The low draw, actually, the low draw is pretty good with the 3 and the 5 out there. Really, the 4-6 is the only. No, the 4-3 is the only hand that really beats me in low. So I'm actually pretty comfortable with the low if a low card rivers. No, actually, I don't even need a low card river. I've got the low now. What am I talking about? This is, yeah, I'm actually pretty comfortable that I'm splitting this pot. So at this point, I'm going to call and try to keep a few more people in here. It might mean that I'm going to quarter by having another low card come in that's going to let somebody else come into the low to split the low with me. But I think overall the value that I'm getting by hoping that a couple of these people come in to feed a split pot, I hope that pays off at the end, because I think I'm probably looking at a split pot here. I've almost certainly got only the 4-5 or only the 4-3 at this point is a better low than me. Now it may well. Oh, this is pretty much a decision for my tournament, because he's put me in for the pot, which is roughly my stack. Now I could always call and keep 1,000, almost 2,000 behind to see if I can go with another hand, and that's probably what I'm going to do. Although the 2,000 isn't terribly useful at this stage, it's enough to start building up another one with. I don't really think I can fold at this stage with the low that I have. It's not the nut low, but it's the second nut low from what I can see on here, and I really don't think I can fold the second nut low at this point. Yep. So that was the right call, and we managed to. I mean, I managed to chip up a bit there because we scooped in some, even though it was a split between two people at the end. We managed to bring in some chips from other people in earlier betting rounds that allowed us to make that pot go a little bit bigger. Gonna check this through. Obviously, we hit a pair of queens, which is a good thing. There's not a huge chance for low. Anyone with an ace deuce got capped out by the deuce, so our low isn't in terrible shape right now. If one does happen to slide in. There is no low possibility. It's all now, and a deuce has just somebody playing an ace deuce has just taken over our high. So the ace deuce is now back to being virtual nuts at this point again. I'm not thrilled with my hand. I'm probably not folding it, but I'm not thrilled with it at this point. But I do think top pair is going to be good here a reasonable amount of the time when no flushes, and really the only straight that came in was the 9-jack. Now, of course, there's tons of two-pair hands out there. I think I got to fold this. There's tons of two-pair hands out there that have me crippled no matter what. Yeah, and he hit the straight, so we were in trouble. Ah, Hammer. Good stuff. Good to see you here, Hammer. It was fun to rail you last night in the Micro Millions. It's a shame you didn't. Make it through, but saw you make a couple of pretty cool moves. So it was nice to watch. It was fun to watch. Yeah, Courchevel rules are it's pretty much Omaha, but just Omaha where you're given 5 cards to start, and they give you a free card on the flop. So obviously the permutations and combinations are massive that you have to work out when you go on, and I don't have anywhere close to an optimal Courchevel strategy by any stretch of the imagination. Never mind a Courchevel high-low strategy. But it's nice to play and just kind of see how the structure goes. Rosalind, yeah, thanks. I really like non-Hold'em streams too. That was the whole point of me setting this up. Was I figured that there's really no, I don't add any value to the 1,002nd Hold'em stream in the world or on Twitch. Really, when you can see Hold'em everywhere in the world. At this point in time, whenever you want, you can turn on your TV and find somebody showing you Hold'em. You can flip on Twitch at any given time, hour of the day, and find somebody streaming Hold'em for you. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to see a lot of people streaming Courchevel high-low. I'm thinking that I'm probably the only person on Twitch right now streaming Courchevel high-low. I will take bets on that, frankly. Yeah, basically it's just 5-card 08 Hammer, except for the added bonus of a free card on the flop. You see a free card, but before you have to make it, you see one of the flop cards before you have to make a decision on your pre-flop betting round. So that makes it, again, that adds just another, as if 5 cards wasn't enough permutations and combinations to work out in your head. Throwing the flop card out there just adds a few more, right? But it does mean you can get rid of hands that aren't any good, that are never going to be any good, or that are rarely going to be any good. It does mean you can get rid of those hands that are never going to be any good because of what comes up on the flop. So that makes it somewhat useful, I think. So in this case, I've got a reasonably good low. With the queen out, this is one of the cases where the flop might indicate how you're going to play this. With the queen out, we have less chance of hitting a low by the end of the hand. So even though our ace-3 is a fairly strong low, it's unlikely that there will be lows coming out. See there, we've only got 1 card, so we've got a 3-card low at this point, but that's not. Now we've got a 4 card, so now we're actually drawing to a low hand finally, which is nice to see. We've also just backed into some gut shot straight possibilities with the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that we're seeing. Obviously, we can't use all of those cards because 3 of them are coming from our hand. And it's still like Omaha in that you can only use two cards from your hand, even though you've got 5 of them now. But we still, anything in any pair of 7, 8, or 9, and we've got a straight coming up there. The queen doesn't help us very much in that sense, and it doesn't give us a low either. So we really don't have a hand at this point, so we've got to get the heck out of Dodge, I think. We're not really showing any value on this hand, I don't think. Yeah, it's great to be here with. It's great to have Rosalind as well, and great to have some you guys chatting in chat together as well. Because sometimes it takes me a while to catch up on what's been going on in chat. So it takes me a while to answer. And besides, it's 3-minute delay, so you guys can chat amongst yourselves and enjoy that as well. I will still, I still like the interaction between you and me as well. But with the 3-minute delay, it's It's great to have you guys chatting around as well. And excellent to have you back, Hammer. Always good to have you around. There's actually a Micro Millions Courchevel high going on right now for $3.30, but I don't really think that that's frankly going to be my game. So I'm not going to put $3.30 down on something like that. I would certainly play a free roll or a cheaper buy-in for this series. But given that Pot Limit Omaha high is not my game, I'm thinking that Pot Limit Courchevel high is even more so not going to be my game. So I think I'm gonna stay away from the Micro Millions over there. I am playing two other games off screen that are HoldEm games at the moment. It's a nice reminder that although this is anything but HoldEm, it's not that we have anything against HoldEm here. We just think that there's lots of other people out there doing HoldEm and doing it very well, and that I'm not going to add a whole lot of value to all of those other people doing things well. I mean, hell, for God's sake, Marcel Lusk is on Twitch streaming HoldEm. How am I supposed to compete with Marcel Lusk and Jason Somerville for HoldEm content, right? But they're not showing you Courchevel high low, so I figured, what the hell? I'll jump in the niche market and I'll pump out some weird games like Courchevel high low and Badoogie and Stud high low and Raz and stuff like that nobody else is going to show you, and we'll have some fun and we'll play. That's okay, Hammer. I'm fairly happy with the way it's going so far. I think that in at least one case here, I was pretty lucky in that I got it in not so great of shape and got there on the river. But again, this is sort of one of those games where you get it in with draws and get there on the river against people like Pot Limit Omaha. The big joke with Pot Limit Omaha is the worst thing that can happen to you in Pot Limit Omaha is to flop the nut straight, because you know that by the end of the hand somebody's going to have rivered a boat or rivered a flush or something to have capped your nut straight, right? And I think that Courchevel, especially the high game, is very much the same. Is very much the same way. That's happened in my favor at least once today for this stack. But a couple of times I've made some what I think are fairly astute plays to get either calls or bets to get people off hands, or bets to induce calls to build chips up to put me where I am. As you can see with the tiny little tournament lobby there on the right. 48 tickets are available in this game. We are 62nd of 100, so there's 52 people to go before we are cashing with tickets, and we aren't quite in the money range, so to speak, but we're not hugely worried about that at this point, I don't think. I'm thinking that I'm thinking that very much like Omaha, anytime you have trips in your hand in a game like this where you can only use 2 cards to the board, you don't like your hand very much, because this third king is just dead. I mean, it's just sitting there dead. You've taken it out of the deck, so it can't be dealt to you to the board, and you can't use it. So it's just a dead weight in your hand. So yeah, it's just dead weight in your hand. So I really don't think you want to get involved much with a hand like that. In any Omaha-like game, and I'm calling Courchevel an Omaha-like game, just with a few variants on how the cards get dealt. Well, I'm sure we'll see you around at some of the games, some of the high-low games, Rosalind. I'm a pretty big high-low fan myself as well. Um, This is not one of the high-low games that I played a lot of, but then again, it's a relatively new format on Stars, as far as I know. I think it may only be a year and a bit old, since they sort of invented it on Stars. Um, may have been it was probably in existence live before that, I'm sure. But it doesn't. It seems to me like it's a relatively new variant of poker, and it's not one that I've played a ton of. But again, I feel more comfortable just kind of jumping into a Courchevel high-low. If the Micro Millions was a $3.30 Courchevel high-low tournament, I might well be a lot more comfortable to jump into it, because with my high-low, what I think are my high-low abilities, I still think I can make a reasonable show, even if I don't have, Courchevel experience specifically. But with it being just Courchevel high, so with just Courchevel high, I just don't really think that I've got a lot of value in that, frankly. No, actually, Rosalind, in this one we've only got, I'm pretty sure, 48. It should show up on that on the tournament window there on the right-hand side. Now, it might be too small for you to read. I'm not sure. But the tournament window, just kind of on the bottom right, should show you the number of tickets, and it's 48 that we're getting out of this one. Yes, this is a pot limit game. I tend to be more of a fan of the fixed limit games, because you have more of an ability to both exact pressure on people with single bets later on down the road, and also less fluctuation, less chance of getting your stack in all at once. So I tend to prefer the limit variants, but yeah, pot limit is fun as well. I think we're going to get out of this hand. We got a pair of 4s and 4, 5, 6 for like straights and lows and things, but that's not wonderful, and there's really no reason for us to be getting involved in risking a huge number of chips at this stage of our game. You guys are both great at that. You've both had occasions to answer the other's questions in advance before I've had a chance to get there, so that's awesome. That's awesome. And we do have a few. We'd have a few viewers and listeners watching, so say hi in chat. Feel free. Don't be shy. And please click the follow button down below the channel window. And follow me so you can be notified every time that I come online to play anything but HoldEm. I don't know what we'll do next. I'm thinking that there's obviously, well, I've been kind of developing a Sunday theme of the Sunday Raz, which I'm pretty sure will probably happen at 9:20 Mountain Time Sunday evening. On a fairly regular basis. I haven't really developed any other regular patterns yet, but I like to play whatever games I can find. A little hard to find some of the off Hold'em games going all the time at the limits that I want to play. But it's really a shame that the sit and goes don't fill more, don't fill easier. But you really only can get action on the weird games that aren't Omaha or aren't Hold'em in the fixed time tournaments, the multi-table. But that's cool. I mean, they play a lot like a sit and go anyways, because they end up with pretty low registrations usually, because there's not as much interest as there is in Hold'em. I didn't start this stream today at the beginning of the tournament. I wasn't really sure how it was going to go, and these free rolls can be a quick exit a lot of times, and I'd hate to start up a stream and just kind of bust out in the first 4 minutes and go, oh well, that was fun. See you later. So I wanted to just see whether I was going to develop a stack at any point, and see how it went. So I think I started up. Like when I started up 45 minutes ago or so, we did. I think we had probably 200 people left in the tournament when I started up 45 minutes ago or so. There's 80 left now. We're sitting 60th, so we're not in scoring position yet, but we're not sitting on a hugely panicky stack at the moment. We've got enough to be. It's a pot limit game again, so there's no antes again. So you can basically sit around. Now it is only six-handed, so of course that means that you can't sit around nearly as much. But to a certain extent, being a satellite, it's going to be there's going to be a serious amount of nitbitchery involved in getting through to the final people that play. And once again, this is the only form of poker where you don't play for the win. You play for being one of the 48 biggest stacks, not for being the biggest stack. All of that said, if you're a high-low player of any variety and you give up a hand that looks as pretty as this, I think that you're probably going to be insane. Rosalind, please confirm this for me in chat when it gets up this far. That it doesn't matter really what variant of high-low poker you're playing. If you've got Ace Deuce 3 7 6 to play, you're in pretty good shape, I think. Would you tend to agree with me on that? So we're still on the nut low with the 8-6 deuce 1. We have backed into some backdoor straight draw possibilities and a gut shot with the 9. I don't see any reason for us to be going anywhere in this pot. I equally don't see a whole lot of reason for us to be going insane with betting in this pot either at this point. We've just sort of hit our gut shot. Of course, it's the sucker straight, which is the bottom end. We still don't have a low, but we've got the nut low draw. So I mean, I think at this point we've got to be feeling pretty good about our hand. I think the strength of our hand on both ends of the spectrum at this point. I really don't think I have a choice but to be involved in this. I've got the nut low draw, 2 nut low draws, and I've got the sucker straight. So I think I've got to just put my chips in the middle and hope for the best at this point. Wow. Sucker straight, and we missed the and we missed the low draw. So that's the way it all ends, ladies and gentlemen. I honestly think, and maybe Rosalind can give me some advice. Maybe give me some advice on how that particular one went down. I think I probably played it as well as I could. I think I can get away from the sucker straight there if I don't have all the nut low redraws. But with all those nut low draws, I just don't think that I can get away from the hand, frankly. Let me have a look at what else is playing as far as what is playing now as far as the astronomer thing is going. There is a limit deuce to 7 triple draw game starting in 15 minutes that might be fun to stream for a bit. So why don't you guys jump in and we can all play with that. It is listed in the free roll section on the tournaments tab in Stars as weekly round 2 satellite : Lowell's free roll. And its start time now is 14 minutes. tournament number is... This is going to sound really weird on when it comes up 3 minutes after you see this in chat, but nonetheless, 1038339278 is the tournament number. Okay, you will understand that once you see, or once you listen to my words as I explain it. But let's an 08 spin and go. Yeah, that would be interesting. An 08 spin and go would be a lot of fun. Oh yeah, this is, yeah, it is a super sexy hand, is it not, Rosalind? I mean, that was just I'm watching on stream now and I just caught up. It was a shame. It was a shame how poorly it all turned out at the end of the day for me, frankly. Alrighty, so for the time being, we'll keep watching this Courchevel. And then I've registered in that Lowell's triple draw tournament coming up. And if you guys want to jump in and join me, you can. I will stream that as well. It will be running at 2 minutes after the hour coming up. So we've got 13 minutes, 12 minutes before it starts. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Rosalind. It's just one of those hands that's gorgeous in any high-low context. You've got straights and wheels and also, yeah, just every possibility you could possibly make, including all the not low possibilities. And it's just the sort of hand that high-low players squeal at. Yeah, I agree with the ace deuce 3. I mean, you're protecting yourself against the ace coming, or against the deuce. Well, yeah, you're protecting yourself against either the ace or the deuce coming, because you know that most players playing for low are going to be playing either an ace and or a deuce, right? So you're protecting yourself from both of those coming. Yeah, deuce 7 triple draw limit's always a lot of fun. I think I like it more than no limit single draw, but that's only because no limit single draw I tend to get my stack in bad a lot, and that's probably why I don't like it as much. And of course it's a free roll, so nobody has to worry about ponying up cash to get into this. These, of course, all play. If you haven't played them before, I'm sure you guys have, but if you haven't played them before, these all play to tickets that go to weekend tournaments on the weekend that have $2,000 in the prize pool. Ticket only entries, and you play down to some pretty decent prizes in those. You can easily win $300-400 if you come in first in one of those. So. I think they're a lot of fun, frankly. Couple of diamonds on that flop. Lots of nice straighty, flushy low possibilities going on there. That's actually a nice, real wet sort of Courchevel high-low flop, I think. Sweet guys, good to see you all coming in the high roll. Maybe we'll all end up at the same table. Wouldn't that be awesome? Not with as many people that are in there. That seems pretty unlikely, but um, so look at all the wetness. Look at all the wetness happening over here on the board after we leave. We got the diamonds coming in. We got the straight flush. All sorts of amazingly wet possibilities for all this stuff. Wow. 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 JoJo girl just takes all the money, or Joe. Why did I get JoJo girl out of that? Jojari? Jojari just takes all the chips in that one. It's quite the flop over here on the Courchevel table. That's not so great, obviously, for if you're playing low hands, but damn, that's some diamonds coming out there. You're probably not as likely to see the straight flush, the royal flush up here in a Courchevel game or in a high-low game because of the low component. It's less likely to be keeping kings around. Um, the ace king in the same hand is probably less likely there than like an ace deuce or something in the same hand, as we saw there. But that's a good question, Hammer. Why would you want to draw once when you can draw three times? I agree. I don't play much on the spin and goes, Rosalind. It's a bit too gambly for my blood. I'm very much a poker player who believes in the skill aspect of the game, and I just find that the gambly prize pool aspect is not really what I'm after. We got breaks coming up. I'm going to need to take a quick break and refresh myself, so I will be back in a few minutes, folks. Thanks for coming by, and stick around. We'll be playing some Deuce to 7 right after the break. Alrighty, we are back again. We have got the deuce to 7 up and running, I believe, on screen. I'm hoping you guys are kicking around. I haven't had a chance to look up at the chat yet. I'm going to go do that now. I am playing 2 other games, so if I get a little distracted on chat, I do apologize for that. I'm in the middle of a few other things. Alrighty, my draw didn't go so well there on the first one, but we'll see how it goes on the next time around. Good luck, you two. Hope things go well on in the deuce to 7 for you. I don't think I'm seeing either of you on my table. Ooh, that was a nice draw. That was a nice draw. We got one more draw to come in. The question is, do we draw to the 10 or do we not draw to the 10? That's the real question here. Do we think that the 10 is going to be a good enough card for us to keep playing? Or for us just to pat on? Or... Now, in this case, we obviously think that some people have hit pretty decent low hands with the way that things are being raised with one draw remaining. I mean, I really think that if I don't draw to my 10, I am going to. If I don't throw the 10 away, I am. Wow. Well, with discards, with a single discard. You know what? I think 10 high might be good. I might have just thrown away. I might have just lit a bunch of cash on fire, especially with Manu checking behind or patting behind me. I might have just lit a bunch of chips on fire. But it'd be interesting to see how. This turns out. And I'm absolutely, of course, calling here. Wow. Yep. That's the strength of position in a game like this. Because had I known that Manu was going to pat, I'm sure that I'd draw to the 10. Once these two guys draw 1, I'm thinking that my 10 is pretty good. But once yeah, once I see Manu pat my 10 is no longer really much value to it whatsoever at that point. So yeah, that's definitely the value of position in these draw games, because it definitely affected my draw there, seeing the two guys draw 1 before me. Yeah, Hammer, I'm pretty sure it's just that HoldEm is the only one that they do spins on. Maybe Pot Limit Omaha. Might be some Pot Limit Omaha spins, I don't know. Rosalind says sadly yes, so I'm assuming that she's going to be correct because she tends to play them more than anybody else. Did you notice your operator moderator icon popping up there, Hammer? Congratulations on agreeing to work for free for me. Yeah, you're right. I should have drawn. In a single draw game, if I've got a 10, I'm almost certainly not drawing if people are drawing in front of me. In a triple draw game, I think that the 10 isn't strong enough probably to hold on. We are playing deuce to 7 here on Anything But Hold'em. It's triple draw limit deuce to 7. If I'm not mistaken, the limit version is always triple draw, and the no limit version is always a single draw, if I'm not mistaken. No limit triple draw would be a rather pointless game, I think. I think pot limit is about the most you could do with triple draw games, like the pot limit Badoogie. It's a triple draw game. Yep, just so many chasing. That's the way, you know, got to live with that sometimes. Especially in these free roll games when you do end up with a lot of people chasing, and you end up with a lot of people that are capping the bets in situations where they probably shouldn't be capping the bets, if you know what I mean. And when you get 3 or 4 people doing that, and everybody comes in, I mean, who knows what's going to happen at that point, right? So, well, yeah, I mean, the position is vital in these draw games because the draw is the only information you really have about the strength of your opponent's hand at that point. So clearly knowing whether or not he's padding, how many cards he's drawing, and so on like that is really vital in working out, I think, how you're going to act on your hands when you have moderately strong hands. So yeah, no, I agree. It's a vital part of draw poker, and it's at least as important, if not more so, than it would be in Hold'em. Information is important, and you get information from position in poker. What got removed, Matt? Hammer, you can now do things like put people on timeouts. You can, I think you can ban chat users, that sorts of thing. Poker News Matt is one of my colleagues from Poker News Canada. He's one of our writers over there. We hang out quite a bit, so glad to see him checking the stream out and watching what we're doing. Nice one, Hammer. Always got to like having a pat hand when everybody's capping the betting. That's always something you want to see. Yeah, Rosalind, this is not so big. The four of us do. There's one central editor, and then the four of us do most of the writing. Alrighty, so we're 9, deuce, 3, 4. We've got people drawing 3 cards and 1 card. I think we're pretty happy with the value of our hand here. Depends how you define work, Rosalind. It's we are definitely staff writers for Poker News Canada. However, at the moment there's not a lot of pay involved in that. Although we do get there is paying work with live reporting and things like that. But yes, we work for Poker News Canada. Alrighty, I think everybody else is still drawing. I'm padding a 95. Here, and I'm going to be pretty happy. I think that I've got the best hand. Now that everybody's being patty with their hands, I'm thinking that I might want to draw. I've got the nut 9. Obviously, any 7 or any 8 beats me, but I've got the nut 9 here. No, I got to pat. I've patted all along. I've got to go with my read. If I'm not mistaken, Rosalind, your first poker buddy is our editor-in-chief, I believe. And Hammer, yes, remember, a few things to remember with Deuce 7 compared to other low games for poker. The ace is not low in Deuce 7. The ace is always high in Deuce 7. And, more importantly, flushes and straights work against you in Deuce 7. Do not play with flushes or straights. They are bad. Bad in Deuce 7. Yeah, I'm not sure, Matt. You're a mod now too, actually. So I figure I can trust you. We're going to play with this hand. We got an 87-52, which is a reasonable thing to draw into, I think, even with people capping the bets. I may not be here very long, but if I don't last that long, maybe I'll go look up Rosalind or Hammer, and we'll rail them on the stream. That could be fun. I think I'm going to keep drawing to this 87. Yeah, I've got a 6, a 4, and a 3 that I can draw into. We got people padding, which tells me that I'm probably not in great shape now. But if I draw into my 6, my 4, my 3, I'm probably in pretty good shape. Drawing a 9, I'm probably not in that good of shape against lot, but I equally don't think that I'm in bad enough shape that I can afford to fold for the odds that we're getting. He's padding again. I don't really think that it's profitable for me to draw to this hand anymore, so I think I also have to pat and sort of pat call. Well, you've actually technically had it since last night, Hammer. That's when I technically gave it to you, but I think it took a while before when the chat room got revamped today before it kicked in. Yep, Lane would be the one that I was talking about as well. So yeah, figured that was the case. Yeah, Lane's a pretty awesome guy. Actually, he's pretty cool to hang out with. Does a good job with the site. He's cool to hang out with when we do live live events. I got into this because I had to pay the blinds, so I may as well draw three to the nuts. And we actually drew pretty decent into this, so we're going to put the rest of our chips into this pot, and or as many of the rest of our chips as the rest of the people will allow us to, and assume that we have the best hand. We're going to pat this down. It's obviously clear that somebody could draw out on us without any question. We've got an 87, which is the second best 8. Obviously 86. No, there's actually a few other 8s that beat us here. But at this point, we can't profitably draw to the hand, and we obviously are going to be burning money if we were folding at any point here. So I'm all in now, folks. Maybe I'm going to come and rail. Hey, nope, I'm not going to come rail somebody else. I'm going to play with my 610 chips, and I'm going to run them up into a big mass of a stack. I think a Jack, a Queen, Ace, 7 is probably not a hand that we need to play induced 7. I think we don't even need to draw into that. No need to ban Rosalind. She's good people. Actually, on one of the other windows, I'm actually pretty deep in a 500 cap, 55-cent no-limit HoldEm game. Sitting 5th of 17 in that game right now with 245 having started, 23 bucks up top, so I'm looking forward to that. At the moment, our next cash is $1.10, so I've doubled my money at this point, which is a pretty decent place to be in any poker game. I'm a big fan of the 8-game stuff as well, Roz. I definitely love playing 8-game. I actually won an 8-game in the middle of the night the other night here on stream. If you go back and look, I believe it's the end of the draw game episode. It was a fun tournament. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I won that one because I felt like I was the bottom chip stack or close to the bottom chip stack for the whole darn tournament, and yet somehow I ended up winning the thing, and I still can't quite work out how. Well, especially because Rosalind has given no reason to be banned. It would be especially mean to ban her, I think. King 10, pair to 3, no real reason to get involved with that, I don't think. The Ace, Jack, Queen, no real reason to get involved there, I don't think either. It's a limit game at this point with no antes. I don't know if we ever get antes in this game or not, but at this point we got no antes, so I'm not hugely concerned about my stack. Even though it's a tiny stack, it's still something that I can sit on for a little bit and Remember, I have the power to ban everyone, so don't go power hungry, you new people that I've modded. Well, 5:30 here, as you can see. I'm well, I suppose I'm not down to 5:30 yet on your screens, but or maybe I am. I think we can properly fold that hand. Matt's kicking all of our butts. Matt's in the deuce as well, and he's kicking all of our butts as well at this point. Well, we've suddenly had a string of hands that are just crap deuce to 7 hands. Yeah, these 500 cap are awesome. Awesome little tournaments. Cheap to get in. There's I mean nothing for the buy-in really. 55 cents is you know, if that's a significant buy-in to you, you probably shouldn't be playing poker. Thank you very much, Hammer. Appreciate it. That was it was a fun win. As I said, I'm not entirely sure how I managed it, but it was fun nonetheless. Or maybe it was fun because I have no idea how I managed it. Haven't been getting a lot of great hands in the Lowell. Past orbit or so, I suppose it's been pretty slow after I had those massive 3 or 4 flurry of all-ins. This is one where you could get involved and draw your Jack King into the 8-3-4, but it's with my stack. I'm probably not going to be winning that often enough for it to be profitable for me, I think. Given that I can expect a lot of people to play back at me with the stack that I have, or the lack of stack that I have. If I get down to the final table of this 500 cap, I might dual screen it and throw the 500 cap up on the right hand side as well, so you guys can watch the final table of that. We'll see how it goes. It would break my anything but hold'em rule, but you know, we've done that a few times on here, and we'll do that a few times again, I'm sure. This is a hand I'm going to get involved with. The deuce 5-4 is significant, or 5-4 deuce is significantly better than the previous one that we were looking at that we didn't get involved with. And we can throw our ace king away and just see what comes back on the next draw. Especially since nobody seemed interested in raising that pot after we got through. I think we're pretty good if we get a decent draw. The 8 is reasonable, I think. You know, being triple draw, obviously you've got to worry about 7s being out there at the end of the draws. But you know, I mean, I think that I've got to keep playing even with a small stack. See, now I'm basically padding my final draw, and I'm putting as many of my chips in the middle as the rest of the table will allow me to do. I think. I mean, they're either all going to fold here, or we're just going to we're just going to bomb the pot as often as we can and as many chips as we can, because I think we've got the virtual nuts, and with our stack, that's all we can do. Yeah, and in theory, I mean, lot almost always should be doing this if they've got any sort of a value hand whatsoever, because they need to put me all in basically to try to knock somebody out of the tournament. Wow, that was a very that was a brutal beat. That was a brutal beat on my fellow Canadian. So just because you guys are down in chips, I was down at like 500 chips. We've spun that back up to 1,590 now, so we've got a stack that we can work with to a certain extent. So don't you be upset about the fact that you got low stacks. That doesn't mean, as long as you got a chip and a chair, you can make it work. I'm also playing a pot limit HoldEm game in the PSO home game series that I've talked about and played and streamed a few games from recently. There are 8 people left in that game with 5 people cashing. I'm sitting in 5th place at the moment. So we'll see how that goes as well. We're going to get rid of this. There's really no reason to get involved with a hand like that. You know, it takes some serious drawing to get into any sort of a reasonable hand. You're going to draw 3 cards at least, the Jack, 9, 3, I would guess, into that. And it's just not going to be profitable often enough, I don't think. We're sitting 4th to 13 in the 500 cap for the record, so we're closing in on the final table there. Oh, sorry about that, Rosalind. Busting the deuce 7. It's pretty streaky in these free roll satellites. They can go, you know. Well, you saw in the Courchevel, I was doing okay, and then it was out. It's now being a fixed limit, it's a little bit different dynamic than the pot limit game over there, but. You know, it's the way it goes. Come back, try again later. At least the investment in the buy-in isn't going to break you or make it so that you can't pay your mortgage this month, Rosalind. Think about it that way. I'm drawing to the 10 there. You know, again, it's one of the places in this situation where I don't really know what the optimal play is, whether padding on the 10 in a triple draw game. I know padding on the 10 in a single draw game is absolutely the optimal play, but I can't see that padding on a 10 is going to be that optimal in a triple draw game when you're padding for 3 draws. So obviously we're going to discard the king again our last draw and hope that we get something better than the 10 that we started this hand with. And we're right back to where we started the hand. That's actually kind of humorous in that sense that we drew to the 10. And we ended up right back where we started, basically. Yep, 98 versus the 10-7. The truth is I probably didn't need to call that, but it was just such an odd hand the way it worked out and the way we drew right back into the same hand that we started with. It was I just wanted to see how that was all playing out. I sort of knew the 10 on this on that hand was not going to be any good, but I just sort of wanted to see what he was playing. Yes, could be fun. I've actually been thinking about, as a sort of a conjunction to this streaming series, creating a PokerStars home game that is sort of exclusively devoted uh, to the odd games, to the Badoogies, to the Courchevels, to the pot limit Omaha eights, to the to the deuce to sevens, to those sorts of things. Um, so I might just go ahead and do that in the next few days and post the information on my page, and we can start playing some of these, and I will stream the games from the home game. As a matter of fact, in some cases, if we start getting people to come into them, and we can have a lot of fun doing sort of streaming our own games. Let me know what you think of the idea. I wouldn't be involved in this hand in any way if it wasn't for the fact that I was in the blind. We actually did a pretty good draw for drawing 4. Absolutely Fabregas. Good to see you here. No, actually, I'm not burned out on HoldEm. I actually play a crap load of HoldEm, to be perfectly honest. I've got 2 other games going on off screen that are both HoldEm games at the moment. I'm multi-tabling and only showing one of the games that I'm playing. The reason that I'm playing anything but HoldEm here, though, is because you can find HoldEm streams 1,001 other places. Here on Twitch, on TV, you can find HoldEm all over the place to watch. But you can't find games like Deuce to 7 all over the place to watch. You can't find games like Courchevel that I was playing earlier all over the place to watch. So I've put this stream together so that we can start showing some of the other forms of poker that people don't normally get a chance to maybe have a look at and watch being played, or even in some cases know the rules of. When I did the Badoogie stream yesterday, I was literally explaining the rules to people, and that's cool. That's part of what I'm here for, is to help people get familiar with other variants of poker other than what they normally see on TV. It is excellent to have you around here, though, Mr. Fabregas, and hopefully you'll click the little follow button down at the bottom and give me some love, give me some follow love, because that's what we, as Jason Somerville says, at the risk of breaking one of his patents, we operate on the follow love here. So all the more follows just gives us the chance to bring more stuff to you. It also gives you the chance to be notified when I'm streaming anything but HoldEm. And that's useful for you knowing when you want to come watch, of course. Nice one, Hammer. There you go. See, what did I say? Chip in a chair. Don't get discouraged when you have a small stack. Just keep playing hands like you would expect to play them, and like wanting to do. Alrighty, we've backed into a pretty good hand. We're probably going to put as many chips in the pot in here as Abimlo will let us put in, because we're almost certainly going to... Ooh, actually, we got Black Dawn kind of sucked out on us a bit, but, you got to expect that every once in a while. 87 to 86, 876 to 865. We're going to get out of this with the paired cards and everything else over 10. It's just not worth us playing around with, frankly. Well, I can stream anytime, most days. I mean, for I think you're Philippines, aren't you, Rosalind? So we'd have to work at a time that's sort of semi-convenient for both of us. At least in the next couple of weeks, I am available most any time during the day. Right now, it is 20 minutes to 6 p.m. My time. So... Oh, cool. That would be awesome. If you make MTT in the private, that would be great. So yeah, I am here. That would get some great people, and that would be awesome. So yeah, you know, anytime sort of anytime between uh, 6 hours ago and 10 hours from now would be a good time. Yeah, that would be awesome. I think that'd be a lot of fun to. It'd be a lot of fun to play in that, and I would certainly stream. I would certainly stream games like that. I'm actually not sure how to make tournaments in stars anywhere but a home game. Is it available to everybody, or is it something that only certain people are able to do? Wascally Rabbit, good to have you back, buddy. Good to see you again. That is awesome. Hey, I meant to ask the last time you were here, Wabbit. Do you hang out in Jason Somerville's stream a bit or something? Is there some reason why I recognize your your name other than the fact that it comes from Bugs Bunny? It just seems like your name is familiar from prior to the first time you came to my stream a while back. So just kind of curious if you recognize Elron 66, Elron Steel, Elron 6900, anybody like that sound familiar to you? Wow, they just want us to have a jack over here on this table. It seems like it's hard to imagine that when he's padding that a jack 8 is going to be a good hand. So I think we're getting out of dodge there. We're definitely going to get involved with this one. I think we're going to raise. We can take it down pre a lot of times with the raise, and we're still drawing to a pretty strong hand at this point. So we're gonna keep putting money in the pot because I think we've got a strong hand when they're drawing 2, and she's still drawing 2. So I think we're still drawing to a strong hand, and I think that we still have to be putting money in the pot. I mean, that really bites when we draw like that. I bet there because there's a good chance that I get a fold if she doesn't make her hand. She's looking to suck out on me, quote unquote, suck out on me. So when she doesn't make a hand there, I can bet and get it out. Whereas if I check the showdown, I'm never actually getting that. Cool, Fab. Well, good to have you around. I'm glad you followed. You will actually see me, I'm hoping, streaming fairly regularly over the next little while. Yeah. No, actually, Wabbit, it seems like there's a lot of people that just they sort of see the name Badoogie, they know Badoogie, but when it comes down to the finer points and the actual rules, it's a little bit more fuzzy. And when I play the free rolls, you'd be shocked at how many people just simply don't grasp the concept of what they're trying to do. Yes, please tweet me about it, or direct message me on Twitter. I'm sure we follow each other, so you can direct message me and or tweet me about it if you wanna go for it. I'm definitely on board. Alrighty, for the record, if anybody's keeping track, we have smashed our old viewership record here on Anything But Hold'em, with currently sitting at 12 people watching the stream, which is in fact, anything in double digits was breaking our previous ding. Wabbit, Lyle is the guy speaking on the voice. That is me. That is the guy hosting the stream. Yeah, I don't know. I just seems the first time you came on my stream, your name just seemed kind of familiar for some reason. Do you play on Stars as something close to Wascally Wabbit, perhaps? Maybe that's where I recognize you from. Fab, are you asking me if I'm a pro semi-pro? I am absolutely not either a pro or a semi-pro. I am a recreational player 100% of the way. I do not make my money in any way off of, or make my living in any way off of poker, nor do I really have any illusions to making my money in any way off of poker. Not so much because I don't want to make my money off poker. I'd love to make my money off poker. But I just don't believe that I'm good enough to make my money off poker, frankly, and so I don't. I do, however, love to play various different kinds of poker, and I love to talk to people, and I'm a bit of a showman, I guess, from behind my mic and cameras. So I figured I'd throw the stream together and put some poker out there. I'm actually not winning necessarily all the time, and I'm not even playing games that I think I'm very good at all the time. I'm just playing different kinds of poker because I like to play poker and because I'm a recreational poker player and I don't mind people watching me while I do it. 08 fixed sounds lovely, Rosalind. That sounds wonderful. Stud 8 would be another one that I would go for, but if you're not a stud fan, then I'm quite happy to go with 08. Something like a horse would be pretty awesome, I think, too, Roz. That's my Twitter handle that I just threw out there 3 minutes ago, for the record. But yeah, I'm good with 08 limit. I'd be, I think a horse would be nice. I think maybe an 8 game would be kind of fun as well. $110 is perfect. That's right in my wheelhouse, I think, for my buy-in level. And I think that it's something that people might be very interested in because I don't think that there is a 110 anywhere in the normal tournament structure of stars in something like an 08 or something. I think 220 is the cheapest tournament that you can find there. You'll find some in the sit and goes, but of course they never fill up. It's like you're sitting there looking at an empty table for 5 hours before you go to bed, and then you unregister. Or worse yet, you forget to unregister, and it fills up in the middle of the night and it plays out while you're asleep, which has happened to me a couple of times in some of the actually the 240 person PLO tournament that's happened to me in. Yeah, I've written a few over there. I normally do. I suppose I'm sort of the technical guy. Although I write all sorts of different kinds of articles, when there's a technical issue or a scientific issue that they want discussed, I'm usually the guy that I'm going to get out of this. I'm not drawn to the 97. I'm not drawn to that great of a hand. Although, yeah, no, I don't think I am going to get out of this, frankly. I think I'm going to draw one more time because they're not necessarily drawn to a great hand either. We are going to get out with a pair of deuces, though. I mean, they might have a worse hand than us and be batting it like we did the other day, but we don't have enough chips to really speculate and find out. We're going to fold out on that. Yeah, no, as I was saying, I'm kind of the I'm kind of the technical guy at Pokenews, and I'll write, so I do the stuff like the Google Glass or the RFID chips and tables, or all that jazz. That's kind of my bailiwick, but I do all sorts of things. What time is it? Is the Did you schedule it for, Russ? Sure, Horse's second game is cool. So over here, I've decided that my 96 is good against this guy with the way he's been playing, and it's almost certainly still good with him drawing 2. So I'm pretty happy to be involved in that pot in that way with him. And I'm going to keep playing the sort of check call game with him because he seems to be we've come pretty close to drawing into the nuts here, which I'm pretty happy about. So we're gonna put all of our chips in the middle if he lets us. So we're gonna pat back. And we're gonna put all of our chips in the middle. Well, he didn't let us put all of our chips in the middle, but we're gonna put a lot of our chips in the middle. That's a pretty lucky draw out for us. Obviously, we basically drew into the nuts, which we're not always gonna do, but I am going to do a little bit of stream maintenance. I have hit the final table in the 500 cap, so I'm going to throw that up on here as well, I think. Alrighty, so this one is going to be the weekly round 2. We're going to fold that. And this one is going to be the 500 cap. Turn the 2 lobbies off. We're going to turn the 2 tables on. And now excuse me while I mess around with my. We do that, and then we do fold out there, and then we do this, and we're good for now. So we have now got the 500 cap over here. 7th of 9th is my current position. We are on the final table. As you see, it was a total of 245 people, I believe, coming into this one. Yes, 245 people with 54 places paid out. Our next payout is $2.03 for the first out on the final table. Alrighty, so it's in 48 hours. Cool. I am going to, once I get finished with this stream, I'm going to actually post that on the info portion of my profile at the front here of Twitch and start doing some major Twitter and G Plus promotion of the tournament as well. So I'm a little busy at the moment, so I won't be able to do it right now. But I will certainly do that once we get finished here with the stream. Alrighty, well this has been a fortuitous flop so far for us on the 500 cap table over here. We're hoping that Brun plays back against us, but it's not likely on a flop like that. We could have obviously checked back and tried to induce a bet on the turn from him. And I suppose given the strength of our hand, that was probably a valid option to increase the value. But that said, I don't really have a horrible problem with betting for value on the flop and getting the fold at that point and having the hand end without any possibility of weird things happening later on down the road, if you get my drift. So I'm pretty happy with, at the end of the day, how that played out. Like I said, I could try to trap by checking back on the flop and inducing on the turn, but that's playing a bit of a dangerous game, and it doesn't necessarily, it might maximize your profits in some cases, but in other cases it maximizes your chances of walking out the door as the ninth place finisher, as our dear and sad friend Mark Newhouse must be painfully aware of, having done that twice in the main event final table. Got into it and walked away ninth. That's got to just be like a kick in the gonads, folks. I think. Yeah, I'll post it in PSO. Would certainly I think we can get, certainly Lane and Anthony and Matt will probably consider playing it. So Saturday night it would be then. That sounds actually like an ideal situation. So we're on break. I am going to go do my normal thingamabobbies that I do when I go on break. And I will be back shortly. Well, at least you've got someone there. You saw earlier with me where I was sitting for like 5 minutes at the table, just collecting all the money from the other 5 sit-outs. Yeah, no, agreed, Fab. I mean, it's just you just got to feel sorry for the guy. The poker fates are absolutely wanting to stomp on his head. It seems like over the last couple of years. Alrighty, just a quick recap before we get back into things again after the break. Over here in our 500 cap, we are sitting 6th of 9. This is a tournament where 245 people entered to begin with. We had a $122.50 prize pool total. $23.74 up top for first place on this final table. And the person who goes out first is going to get $2.03 back. Now, at a 55-cent buy-in, that's not a bad return on your day. But of course, that's never our objective. Our objective is to be sitting at the end with all the chips. That's always what we're after. Sitting 6th. I mean, we're obviously not in a great position chip stack wise. But we're not in a horrible position either. We've got chips to do things with, and we've got, we've got chips to do things with, and we've got sort of the room to do it. We've got people beneath us who need to act first. So yeah, I mean, I think that we've got time to find a spot to make our move and see what happens. $7-8. I don't think I need to get involved with that offsuit so early in position. I'm only really sitting on sort of 18 big blinds, so I've got to be a little careful as to what I open and when I open at this stage if I don't want to be the first person off of this final table.